The invites are out for Apple's big iPhone September event, at least allegedly. There is some debate on whether this is legit or not. I'll break down what we think we know about this. But September 9th, September 10th, whatever the date is, looks like early September is locked in as the date the iPhone 17 becomes official. Also, speaking of iPhone 17, we've got some new info on pricing that is not good. iPhone prices are going up. I will tell you how much. But some good news in terms of pricing is that we're hearing a lot more about budget Apple products these days, specifically a new budget-focused Mac, budget-focused AirPods, budget Apple TV. Let me tell you about this new breed of budget Apple products that are packing a lot of value and won't break the bank. But first, let's talk September event because things here are getting crazy. Now look, this happens every single year. The closer we get to the Apple event and Tim Cook and Craig coming out and showing everything that's new, I guess it's more Jaws with the iPhone, but maybe Craig will make an appearance, the more that leaks. I mean, these phones are being built as we speak. We just got some images of what the casing's gonna look like. We know what the colors are gonna look like. We know the features. This thing was spotted in the wild. The iPhone 17 is all but basically official at this point. We know everything there is to know about it, at least 99% of it, but what we don't know for sure yet is the event date. Now, one analyst said just a couple of days ago that September 9th was likely going to be the day, and that probably is true if you look at Apple's track record. And then, just a day or so ago, we got this sort of invite floating around that looks all legitimate and looks to be real, and many were speculating if this was sort of leaked early as sort of the big invite going out to the media on the September event. And long story short, probably fake. Probably a good fake, but it's probably fake. In fact, I can now confirm this is a fake invite. Actually, a pretty genius PR move from the folks over at Radiance app. This is a wallpaper app. I'll throw a link down below. Job well done to them, and actually a pretty good app. But just goes to show that the hype around these Apple events are insane, and any little morsel of info can be sort of spread around the internet like crazy, whether it's true or not. But if you are planning to pre-order the iPhone 17 this year, just be prepared to spend a little bit more money because it's likely going to get more expensive. Apple's going to try to twist this as a win for you, but just know the cold hard cash doesn't lie. At least one analyst has a prediction on what the iPhone 17, each of these models, is going to cost, and here's at least the consensus right now on how this will break down. The base iPhone 17 going to stay unchanged like the 16, $799 is the price. 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max will each become $50 more expensive, but the way Apple's going to spin this potentially is that you're going to get double the base storage. So you'd be getting more storage for a little bit of an increase in price. Maybe this makes sense for you, maybe it doesn't. Bottom line is the starting price tag will likely go up. And then, of course, the wild card here is the iPhone 17 Air. This is the new slim model. It's never been in the iPhone lineup before, so Apple can kind of set the price of what they want here. And again, according to this analyst here, $949 is going to be the price of the Air. So kind of close to the Pro level, but again, you've got a $100 buffer there, keeping this well below the Pro. Apple, of course, they want to separate each of their phones, so some people buy this and some people buy that, and looks like at this point here there's going to be a bit of a buffer between each of these phones, so there's kind of something in there for everybody, which is nice, but probably going to get more expensive too. And I mean, as you'd expect, iPhone 17 news is kind of dominating the Apple news cycle at this point. The problem though is that there isn't a lot we don't already know. Basically, we're getting confirmation after confirmation that the colors are going to be this, the design's going to be that. Hopefully there are some wild card surprises, but this is kind of what we know. And I guess I'll tell you, like, the other kind of random Apple news of the week is that Apple is still working on this whole home robot thing, and they're working on a new Siri, and they want to make their own version of the Pixar lamp, is what we're hearing now. The details are sparse, so I'll sort of kind of leave you with that teaser for now. But what I think is more interesting, and I think a lot of you guys are going to be excited about, are a new fleet of budget Apple products. This is actually kind of coming back in the rumor cycle yet again. Some of these might be launching soon, and things here are actually pretty exciting and pretty interesting. Specifically, we're hearing a whole lot more about this new budget-focused MacBook that could be coming very soon. Price here would be around $600, and what you'd be getting for that price is a very interesting laptop. It's sort of like the old MacBook, like the modern MacBook reborn. That would be super thin. It'd be lightweight, could be coming in some colors with maybe some white bezels and white keyboard around as well. Really would make it sort of more fun and playful, kind of like the 16E. But the big difference here is that this would have an iPhone processor inside, still Apple Silicon, but iPhone processor, and it wouldn't be an M series processor. Rumor has it this would be the A18 Pro chip. This is the same chip that's currently in the iPhone 16 series, so it would be like one chip behind the newest phones. But this does kind of give Apple a couple of advantages. Obviously, cost would be the big one here. If they've made these in the iPhone for 12 months, they can now repurpose them in a different form factor. And we're hearing right now that it would basically be giving you like M1 level equivalents in terms of power and efficiency and functionality. So you're not really losing out on anything. Like Apple Silicon chips are so good for a reason that people stop complaining about Mac prices, because the Apple Silicon chips are just that good. And for the price, you'd be getting a really solid laptop with a capable chip, 13-inch display. I mean, there's a whole lot here to really love. And I should say, credit to where credit is due. I've harped on Mr. Tim Cook a lot for some of his odd decisions and lack of innovation, so on and so forth. But one change Apple has made under Tim Cook's leadership is giving a lot more attention to the budget-focused Apple products. We've seen budget iPads, we've seen budget Macs, we've seen different sort of variations of budget iPhones, and now it seems like Apple is going to expand that even further in other categories. So the MacBook SE or whatever it's going to be called, that's one, but we've also heard rumors about a budget version of AirPods, even below the current AirPods, like something, well under the $100 mark, maybe $70-$80. That has still been a rumor. Also, we heard some rumors a while ago about a sport version of AirPods Max, so basically a more budget-friendly version of the premium over-the-ear headphones that Apple offers. We've heard some rumblings about an Apple TV stick, so sort of like a Roku. It'd be this smaller form factor, plugs right in via HDMI, gives you all the Apple TV goodness, but probably would be like $50. So it'd be a significant departure from the price of like the traditional set-top box, which for a lot of people is exactly what they want. I do think it's very interesting that we are seeing this focus on budget, though I will say at the same time, one of the most interesting things about all this, and something you might have noticed if you do a little digging online, is that Apple kind of already does this now in a sense, but they do it very secretly. In fact, you might have seen some promotions for a lower cost MacBook Air being sold at Walmart. For all this talk about a $600 budget Mac, this already exists in the form of what you're getting at Walmart right now. It is the older M1 version of the MacBook Air, but what we're hearing from, at least from different sources, is that this isn't a refurbed MacBook Air. It's not a repackaged MacBook Air. These are brand new, made from Apple, straight from Apple MacBook Airs that they're working with Walmart to deliver to the consumer in a more budget-friendly way. And it seems like what Apple is doing here is sort of testing the waters, potentially, for this new laptop on how a consumer would react to a $600 Mac. All right, guys, so your thoughts on the Apple news of the week. Budget Macs? Are you buying an Apple-branded robot? Are you willing to pay more for the iPhone 17 Pro? Or are you going to snag like a 16 at a discounted price? Drop a comment down below. Let me know. Appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you so much. I am Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle. I'll see you guys in the next one.